How's it, Godzilla fans, kaiju fans, collectors, and just general people of YouTube? This is Chanzilla1964 coming back to you with yet another figure review. This time we will be reviewing the Bandai MMS Series brand new release of the Varan figure. That's right, we have Varan, finally. After the Godzilla store pull that happened early of this year, I believe, we finally got him in hand. That's right. And starting off with the detail, you guys can see it from here. With me looking at the camera without even looking at the stuff, you can see all the detail work from here, from his carapace over here to his arms to his legs. I mean, the face of Varan looks 100% movie accurate. Let me bring over his tag over here. I mean, look at that face. Look at this face over here. Come on, zoom in. Look at that face and look at that face. Pretty damn movie accurate if you ask me. Now, let's go on the detail right here. Now, as you can see with Varan, his detail work is possibly one of the best detail worked figures that Bandai MMS Series has put out this year, in my opinion. From the detail work on his face to the inside of his mouth over here, where his teeth are individually sculpted separately from the mouth, and they look very nice. Now, showcase on the face, you have some horns all over his face. Horns here, horns up here on his eyebrows, and the horns going down his back over here, which are very nicely done. And then before we show off the main thing for Varan, pretty much, which would be this thing. We have the underside of Varan here, which is very nicely detailed. The bumps, ridges, folds, and the chest over here is very nicely done, going up detail from all the way under the chin, going all the way running along his neck, under his body, his tail. There's some bumps on the legs. Just very good detail all around, all the way to the tip of the tail over here, where detail continues even with the bumps. And then you got the inside of his legs over here, which are very nicely done, especially the bottom of his feet. Detail work over there, detail on his underside of his hands, which will look very skeletal and menacing. Then detail work on the top of his hands too, and I mean, just, oh my goodness, I can't imagine the amount of or the attention of detail that went into creating this figure, because even the folds of the arm are very nicely done here. And then you have the skin flap for Varan's when he unfolds his wings and he turns into that giant flying iguana squirrel thing, or the giant flying lizard. Same thing on the legs over here, which, and by the way, these are sculpted in a way where while Varan is in this crawling pose, which is where he's going to be most times, it looks like the wings are connected, even though they're not, because, well, spoilers for Articulation over here, they're not connected. But when they're like this, when he's walking, bam, they look connected. So, yeah, Bandai did amazing detail work on this guy. And then the most prominent thing for Varan would be his back over here, which is possibly one of the toughest things that I've had a hard time replicating on the YMSF Varan. But I mean, Bandai knocked it out of the park with this guy, which makes me wonder how well they would be able to do if they did a Bandai Movie Monster Series 1968 Anguirus figure, which I'd be dying to see a molding of it, or redone figure of it. But I mean, if they can put this amount of detail in the Varan, Anguirus would be amazing, and an amazing figure to get redone. But yeah, that's enough of detail. I think you guys saw just about everything, and that's enough of me gushing, because getting on the paint where it's lacking a little bit, but I think it's the job done, because I mean, Varan is, most of the time when you see him, he's just one single color anyways, so yeah. But pretty much all the paint you're going to get on Varan is going to be his spines going down here, halfway down his tail, so typical Bandai fashion. Yeah. Then the tips of his fingernails over here has some white paint. The same white paint's going to be on his teeth. And then the eyes are very nicely colored. And one thing that I was surprised by actually is that Varan's mouth is painted inside, top and bottom very nicely, with the teeth individually painted as well. So kudos to you, Bandai, for painting the mouth very, very nicely, and actually making it like it's. But like I was saying, it looks movie and suit accurate in every way. The only thing that would be missing paint-wise would be that for Varan's top part and or bottom part actually, there's a bit of shading where I believe it's the bottom part that's a little darker or lighter tone compared to the other half of his body or the carapace, which that would have been nice to see, but I'm not going to be nitpicky here because that's kind of easy to customize. And I mean, we finally have a Varan figure. It's amazing. So yeah, moving on to articulation for this guy. His arms move, spoilers from paint or detail. His legs can move, but they're kind of tight, and they move smoothly this way, but they can't move this way because of the carapace fold over here. Same thing for this side. And then there's a glue seal at the tail, but the tail does not move, and there's a glue seal at the head, but the head does not move. And yeah, that's it for articulation. Now moving on to possibly one of the biggest size comparisons I will ever have on this channel, because I'm going to bring up the whole Destroy All Monsters cast, because there's no way to compare Varan's size to anybody, because he was never directly next to anyone, and whenever he was this small miniature of his flying form, which doesn't do any justice for me for Varan. So we're gonna bring out all the Destroy All Monsters figures that I have, including the YMSF Manda, Gorosaurus over here. Then we got Anguirus. Put Anguirus next to him. Then we got Kumonga. Kumonga back there. We got Mothra. Then we have Baragon, Minya, Rodan, put Rodan back here, and Godzilla, which can go like, yeah. Okay, so the whole Destroy All Monsters Good Guys cast with Manda looking derpy in the bottom left corner over there. As you can see, Varan's one of Bandai's bigger 6-inch vinyl figures, which I'm totally fine with, because like I said, we never ever saw him sized up and next to any of the other Toho monsters like we've seen with Rodan or Mothra or Godzilla all together. But I'd say I'm pretty happy with this, all things considered, especially since, a little trivia for Varan here, they're supposed to be, for the final Godzilla, the Heisei Godzilla film, it was supposed to be Godzilla versus the Demon God Varan or something, where it's supposed to be a giant Varan that fights against Godzilla, and this is supposed to be his last movie. But yeah, if you want to learn more about that, I'll leave a link or a picture of where you can find out what the video is actually supposed to be in the somewhere on this side. Yeah. But as you can see, he's a bigger figure for Bandai's end, which is I like to see this guy done up, similar style for this guy, so he's a little bigger as well, which Anguirus should be. Now, one thing I did want to get out of the way for Varan's review is Varan's comparison between him and his YMSF counterpart. Now, detail-wise, obviously there is no competition, because the YMSF Varan does not have the carapace detail going on over here, plus the face detail is a little is kind of lacking, especially with the mouth detail over here. Just kind of looks like a pudgy nose, but the hands are kind of done in a simplistic fashion, which is totally fine, although you got the wing membranes over here connecting the legs and this part of the feet. Yeah, but the spines on Varan, to me it wasn't up to par. So this was a placeholder Varan figure for me more so. I waited for something like this to come out. And I mean, there's obviously no competition as to which one is the better Varan figure, because this one has more articulation, better detail, more movie accurate, suit accurate. So I'm sorry, as much as I love YMSF, their Varan figure is something that it's now being pushed aside for me, because we have the new Bandai MMS Series Varan figure over here, which I would definitely recommend you guys get 100% if you guys are a big fan of giant monster movies, if you're a big fan of Godzilla, especially the Showa series. Also, if you want to kind of add if you're a fan of the Heisei series, if you want to add a fun, kind of different figure into the mix with a little bit of old history trivia that never came to be. Speaking of never came to be, if you're also a fan of GMK, there was an old version of the script where instead of Mothra, King Ghidorah, and Baragon fighting against Godzilla GMK, it was supposed to be Varan, Anguirus, and Baragon. So boom, if you wanna do that kind of movie in your, while you're playing at home or doing whatever you want to do, making your Godzilla films, you should definitely pick up this figure, because he'd skill in well with the Baragon 8-inch scale figure as well as the Godzilla GMK 8-inch scale figure. So he's a perfect mix of 6-inch and 8-inch, in my opinion. Back on scale again, but that'll do it for this review, guys. If you guys like this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button down below, not section, button. And if you guys like what you see on the channel, do be sure to subscribe and stay tuned, because sometime soon, more likely early next month in December, we're going to be doing the review for the Godzilla vs. Gigan Rex figures, that being Godzilla Junior Adult version, and Gigan Rex. But yeah, be sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and let me know if you like the Bandai MMS Series Varan or the YMSF Varan. If anybody got some love for the YMSF Varan, back him up, because he deserves love. Same time, this one deserves love, because this was the first Varan figure that we ever got in 6-inch soft vinyl form, so he deserves just about the same amount of respect as this guy. But let's get a poll going, and I just want to see how many YMSF Varan lovers we got out there. That being said, till next time, guys, this has been Chanzilla 1964 saying peace.